Absolutely. So, welcome into the show. We got the host, as always, Chancellor Brewington. You're not going to like it. I was kind of diving in a little bit to the Lakers and Jamal Murray.
Oh, no.
But we're off the Lakers, man. I won't pick on them anymore. I did give them credit. I still think last year they were probably still the second best team in the Western Conference. I know they got swept, but hey, all those games were right down to the wire. It was some ridiculous Jokic shot or Jamal Murray shot. But I do got to talk about Jamal Murray a little bit before we get to our break here. Chancellor Brewington, when it comes to players that turn their game up another notch, is there anybody better than Jamal Murray at this moment?
At this moment, I'm not really sure. I mean, seeing Anthony Edwards play at a high level, but as far as guys right now, and he's shown it in the big time stage. He's already got a ring last year. I really think that he is a guy who's making a name for himself as a closer, as a finisher in games.
Yeah, that's like he, to me, as I was kind of explaining while I was going solo there for a little bit, he gives me I'm not calling him Kobe Bryant. That takes a long time to get to that level. But when you're a guy that can go 1 for 20, and when it comes to the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, you're still the guy everybody's most concerned about, that's what makes him special. It doesn't seem to matter how poor of shooting a night he's having in that fourth quarter. If you are not respecting him at all on defense, or even just having a mental lapse for a split second, I mean, you've seen it as a Lakers fan. I should say a LeBron fan. He was getting to the rim at will. He had defenders guessing. There's nobody better out there than Jamal Murray right now in the playoffs. And I think that's why the Denver Nuggets are on their way to a quote unquote dynasty. I mean, they got 2 rings now. They're going for 3. Is there any other team that you think takes this chance of becoming the next NBA's dynasty team away from the Denver Nuggets? Obviously, assuming health stays good for the most part. Those are always things that are going to throw a wrench in it, but they're impossible to speculate, so we won't put that into the equation. But is there anybody out there slowing down the Denver Nuggets?
Yeah, I think the Timberwolves will be a fantastic test. I think that would be a mini final series in itself. I think Anthony Edwards, like I said, is playing at a high level. We got Kat and Rudy Gobert will have good matchups against Jokic. And I think the guard-on-guard matchup with Jamal Murray and Anthony Edwards will also be interesting to see. I think that will be a series where the role players, where Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. and KCP, Kadavius Caldwell-Pope, I think those guys are going to have really, really big games and important games. And I think those are because the matchups are so even there.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Jokic, I would say, gets the tip, and I would say Anthony Edwards gets the tip. So I think they even out. So it's going to be interesting to see how the role players play. And I think that's probably in the West, I would say that's the team. Obviously, you have the Celtics in the East that could kind of rewrite history and start their own dynasty with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. But yeah, I think it's really just the Celtics, and depending on this Timberwolves series.
Yeah, I think the Timberwolves series, to me, it's going to be the best basketball in the West I think you can probably consume, unless there's some sort of matchup with the Clippers and Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals. I'm giving the nod to Jamal Murray still. Again, until a guy, Anthony Edwards, he's been incredibly impressive. He has still not been to that level of, I think, where Jamal Murray, I mean, my Lord, the 2 buzzer beaters against the Lakers. He had a few last playoffs as well. This is a guy that has he hasn't really had a bad moment yet when in terms of the clutch shots. Like, he has been so on top of his game in the postseason. It's hard for me to give the nod to anybody else. And people can look at me like I'm crazy. You can look at the regular season stats of Jamal Murray, and again, he looks like a fringe all-NBA team. Every time we get to the end of the 82 regular season, people look at Jamal Murray like, he got snubbed. Look at that. Once again, fell off the All-Star. And it's like, if you actually look at the stats, he looks like a fringe all-NBA to maybe even a 6-man off the bench stats. And that's what's so amazing about the playoff version of Jamal Murray. And that's why I think he's arguably the greatest quote-unquote playoff riser we've seen in our time. And that's not me just throwing the title out there loosely.
That's pretty big right there.
His numbers are jarring, and I dare anybody to go look at his numbers in the playoffs.
You have them pulled up, Harrison?
Yeah, I'll pull them up right now.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like we gotta add context to that statement right there.
Fair enough. So as I'm getting this knowledge up here for everybody, when I talk about playoff risers, not guys that are the best person in the NBA. A riser, in their regular season stats take a massive leap when they get into the playoffs. That's the riser status that I'm giving out. And there's nobody like Jamal Murray, who again is, you look at his regular season stats, a fringe all NBA guy to a somewhat of a 6-man. You can even argue 6-man stats. Now, a lot of that is because of just the situation with a lot of good role players. But the other part of that, he's just different when he gets to those playoff situations. With that being said, though, we'll go ahead, throw it to break. I'll get those stats ready for Chancellor Brewington. We can dive into some more. But again, maybe we'll get some NFL talk on the other side as well. This is What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington, the host, as always. Harrison Arns on the 1s and 2s. We'll talk to you guys in a little bit.
Homeowners, are you tired of paying for a lawn care service when the results are leaving your lawn lifeless and full of weeds? Is your lawn sick of being ghosted by your service provider when they don't show up? Maybe it's time for a switch. At Weedman Lawn Care, excellent results, proactive communication, and superior customer care is what we're all about. Don't take my word for it. Check out our Google reviews. See the Weedman difference on your lawn. Go to weedman.com and get 50% off your first application with your program. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Aloe Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela. They let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit aloefiber.com to switch today.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for our 12th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
This is Coach Bill Bush. You all know my passion for Nebraska. Having coached all over the country, I can honestly say there is no place like Nebraska. You know where there's also no place like? Midwest Bank. Midwest Bank has proudly served Nebraska for over 70 years, and they're located in 9 different communities. Midwest Bank is ready, willing, and able to meet all your personal, business, and agriculture needs. Your community, your bank, and mine, Midwest Bank. Find out more at Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
Buckle up and hang on. This is going to be a good one.
The fans of Kansas Speedway know how to have a good time. One that celebrates fantastic finishes and family-friendly facilities. Trading paint.
We got feuding
and tailgating tradition. Burnouts, beer, and barbecue. Oh, it'll for sure be a good time, and you are all invited. NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, May 4th and 5th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
Unearth the secret to long-lasting tires at Tread's Central Tire Pros, a league apart in commitment, service, and expertise. This isn't just about rubber meeting the road, but trust, safety, and surety converging in perfect harmony. This is where expectations are exceeded every time. Make your appointment today at Tread Central Tire Pros, just south of Cortland on Highway 77, or visit our website to explore our services. Remember, when it comes to tires, choose Tread Central Tire Pros because we tread differently.
Problem gambling affects millions of Americans daily, of all ages and walks of life. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Looking for a job that feels like family? Join Lincoln Industries, where tradition meets innovation. They're a family-owned, privately held manufacturing company with a passion for excellence and a commitment to their community. They have openings on all shifts at both the main plant and Air Park facilities, offering flexibility to fit your schedule. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, there's a place for you there. At Lincoln Industries, they invest in their people's success, providing opportunities for growth and advancement. Apply now and become a part of something special at Lincoln Industries.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
Hi, it's Tom and Mike from Husker Rewind. And did you know that people who are represented by an attorney are often compensated up to 3 times more than someone who is not?
Friedman Law has been helping injured people for over 60 years. It's all they do. If you're ever seriously injured in an accident, call Friedman Law at 402-476-1093.
Friedman Law is a family firm that works hard for Nebraska families just like yours.
So if you're ever injured on the job or in a crash, contact Friedman Law at friedmanlaw.com.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in to What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington. The host is always on the Allo VIP line, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. We got Chancellor Brewington in here, and I will say, Chancellor Brewington, if you're still with me, we got the numbers. Yep. So you want some stats? We'll just start with this one. Highest increase in career points per game from regular season to postseason in NBA history. Can you guess who number one is?
Is it Jamal Murray?
Jamal Murray. Regular season, averaging
16.9
points per game. To the playoffs, brings it up to a whopping 25. His point differential goes from a +4.
That's nuts.
Yep.
That's nuts.
Number 2. Can you guess who the other guy is? This one just hurts. This is what I'm talking about, Nuggets dynasty here. You can probably guess number 2.
You said Nuggets?
Yep. It's Jokic.
It's Jokic?
Yeah. The second highest increase in career points per game from regular season to the postseason. Not recently, in NBA history. Nikola Jokic from 20 points per game in the regular season to a whopping 27.2 in the playoffs. Not playoffs. That's a +7 point differential.
Give me 3 through 5.
I only got the 4. Number 3. Jalen Brunson, which is small sample size. Now you got to keep in mind, Jalen Brunson's got a very small sample size, but from 14.3 in the regular season to 20.8, as he gets more playoff debuts, it's going to be interesting to see how that number changes a little bit, but he's currently sitting at 3. Number 4, Reggie King. You got to go way back in time. 8.9 points per game to 15.4. And then if I just go to ESPN and try to get some other articles, first ESPN article that comes up, they rank him number 5. This is in recent history is what they use for terms. They got number 5, Derek White. I'm okay with that one. Number 4, Chris Middleton. Makes sense. Number 3, Anthony Davis. Makes sense. Number 2, Jimmy Butler. Number 1, Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is, again, you have to pay attention to how good he is in the playoffs compared to the regular season. This is why I mean, not the best player in the NBA playoffs, the biggest riser. Like, there's no question that when it comes to changing your game to a new level, Jamal Murray is exactly that. Like, he is almost a different player in the playoffs. So I'll ask you again, like, when it comes to playoff risers, it doesn't have to be Jamal Murray. That's it for me. Like, he is just that guy. Who is it to you? I would even flirt with the idea of playoff Rondo, because I think a lot of people forget about his regular season stats to when he got to the playoffs. Even when he was with the Lakers, again, just looked like a different and better player.
Yeah, playoff Rondo, that's a good one. I mean, I'm trying to think of in like, early 2000s, mid 2000s, who was a guy who just exploded in the playoffs. I wonder how Ginobili, his numbers were.
Yeah, I think he's probably up there. Tony Parker, I remember looking up. He was surprisingly a playoff faller. If you want to fall, I don't know what the best term for that is. Yeah, Tony Parker, surprisingly, it wasn't bad, but his numbers took a significant dip when he got to the NBA playoffs. Another guy that, as I was kind of going through these, that was really sad for me to see personally, Damian Lillard. I could believe it. But yeah, Damian Lillard, not great in the playoffs. You could probably guess a guy. I'll see if you can guess the name. He played for the Houston Rockets, then the OKC Thunder, then the Brooklyn Nets, and now he's on the Clippers.
James Harden.
Yeah, He is a big-time playoff faller. Worked on that last night. A whopping 7 points. Not great.
There you go.
Yeah, it's just James Harden. I mean, maybe we should talk about the Clippers before, and then we'll switch over to NFL because we're kind of on this playoff risers and fallers. Unless you got any other names on you that really come up to mind, I think Jimmy Butler is a fair one. His stats are ridiculous when he gets to the playoffs. It's unfortunate we didn't get to see him this year. But I got Jamal Murray still holding it down. Number 1, Rajon Rondo, playoff Rondo probably at 2. And then number 3, I'm a little bit split. You could go a bunch of ways. I might even give it to Kobe Bryant back in those early 2000 eras because he definitely picked his game up to a new level.
Yeah, I think. Wait, what was the question again? I lost it.
You got any other risers? Guys that you think get forgotten? Not necessarily forgotten, but guys that regular season, they're good. Playoff version, just a different player. Even better, even more lethal.
I mean, I have guys in certain scenarios. Do you remember Dwayne Wade in like, what was that, 08, 09?
Yeah, yep.
It was 08 when he just exploded and had one of the most prolific playoff runs that we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Remember that? D Wade. Remember, I'm trying to think. I just had one more. Kawhi Leonard in 2019.
Yeah, the Raptors run. That was ridiculous.
That was ridiculous. I think of it's tough because I feel like we haven't really seen. I feel like we've seen stars maintain.
Yeah.
Right. I think we've seen Steph Curry maintain. I think we've seen LeBron maintain and rise to occasion. I think we've seen KD at times maintain, rise to occasions. We've seen who else? Klay Thompson.
Yeah, Steph. A bunch of those guys.
A bunch of other guys. So I don't know if I feel like to have a rising star, like I would say a guy that rises to the occasion, like a Jamal Murray. I feel like he has to be on a really well orchestrated team for that to happen.
Yeah. And this is kind of part of the argument too. It's like, obviously you look at a guy like LeBron James, he's not going to be on that list very often. He actually is. He has a couple seasons where he's up there. But for the most part, when you have a guy that's averaging 27, a damn near triple double every night, to ask, give me another 15-point differential, that's what puts Jamal Murray ahead of everybody, is because he isn't asked to do all that in the regular season. And then when you do get to the postseason, he has these massive upticks because that space is available to take over the offense more. When you have a guy like Luka on the Mavericks this year, what's he going to do? Average 40 points throughout the entire playoffs to get that quote-unquote riser. So some of those superstars just aren't going to be in the mix because their regular season numbers are so high. Real quick, I got your numbers on D Wade. Might as well just call him the most consistent regular season to postseason player ever. 22 points regular season, 22 points postseason. I mean, the guy stays pretty consistent. Field goal percentage, 48% regular season, 47% postseason. Averages about he's actually better in the postseason in terms of his 3-point shot, 33%, 29% in the regular season. So Dwayne Wade, not necessarily a riser, but you'll take consistency anytime when you're heading into the playoffs. A guy that doesn't let the pressure succumb to him. But I thought that was pretty fascinating. That Jamal Murray, I thought it looked like that on TV, and to see the numbers back it up, and not only back it up, but push him to the forefront of really being that different compared to his regular season version of himself is what makes the Nuggets so damn scary. So it's going to be fun. Timberwolves, Nuggets, that is probably going to be the most exciting matchup, at least to me personally, in the Western Conference. But that's where I'm at with the NBA. I think it's a good spot to leave it. Pacers, they eliminate the Bucks. Tough one for them. Without Giannis Antetokounmpo, it's just hard to read. All right, let's switch it over here. I do want to talk some NFL with you since we got you on the Allo VIP line. First things first, what do you think about Najee Harris, Pittsburgh Steelers? They are not going to pick up his fifth-year option, which only would have been about $7 million, just under $7 million for that fifth-year option. But that's kind of the running backs market, unfortunately, if you are in that running back position. Yeah. Thoughts on the Steelers? Do you like the move or do you hate the move?
I don't hate it, but it's not a necessary thing where I don't love it. Just because I know their mindset. I know the running back value has gone down over years because of the work and the injuries and the amount of carries and stuff like that. So I understand that. That being said, I would imagine seeing some type of pushback or I don't know. You just see guys where the relationship kind of goes down towards the year, and it kind of affects guys' plays sometimes. So I would just be interested to see if that affects his numbers, if that affects his play.
Yeah, fair enough. I think when it comes to the running backs, I think it's actually probably the smart move for the Steelers. I don't hate it or love it, but again, it's just kind of like what you were saying. It's just the way of the market. Are you going to be that team that's the pride example when nobody's going to follow you? Like, you can't, as much as you want to do the right thing, you're not going to change the market. You're just going to put your team in a worse spot. Maybe it does play out where it's a mistake and Harris has an incredible season and you do want to decide to pick up that 5th-year option. But as it sits right now, like, you can probably get just as much production on a cheaper dollar. And again, unless you're that Saquon Barkley, that Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, you're not going to be getting that kind of money. Like, unless you are just that different to the point to where teams have no choice but to give you a ton of money because somebody else will. Like with Najee Harris, he can probably find somewhere that's going to pay him well, but that 5th-year option, I would probably do the same thing if I'm the Steelers. But let's stick on the Steelers. Some talks with special teams coach, thinking about putting Justin Fields back there for receiving the ball in this new XFL style kickoff. DeMornay Pearsonell, I got his opinion on it. I'm curious to see if yours differ or stay the same. Thoughts on about having a backup QB be a part of the return team for this new XFL style kickoff they're bringing to the NFL this upcoming season?
I hate it.
Okay, so you're the same as DeMornay Pearsonell. Expand.
There's guys that specialize in that. Why don't you put those guys out there? That makes no sense. Maybe, I mean, I could see if that's like a request granted, like, oh, this is something I really want to do. Like, I want to be involved in whatever way, coach, like that type of thing. But if it's just like, if he brings that up, like, I'm sure that will probably get vetoed. I'm sure, right? That's not a real thing, is it?
It's a conversation. It was at least a legitimate idea. How legitimate? It got said either way to the media. So, I mean, there was at least a thought bubble within that Pittsburgh Steelers organization, whether it was Mike Tomlin or not, or just the special teams coach. There was a real thought about putting Justin Fields back there. And your answer, if you're curious, it was exactly the same as DeMornay Pearsonell. Like, don't you have guys that you pay to do that job? It seems a little idiotic to put what may be your future QB in a situation that could get him hurt. I get it. The athleticism makes sense why you would want to do it. But again, you got a bunch of other guys out there that's literally their job, to be playmakers, to be fast and skilled and work well in space. That it'd just be wasting dollars if you put Justin Fields back there and then worst case scenario, he gets hurt. You're going to look like a big time fool organization for even thinking that was a good idea. So I'm right with you there. A couple things with the Steelers there. Again, I don't think that Justin Fields in the backfield for kick returns ever going to happen, but we'll have to see it play out. I do think it's more of a thought than they're actually going to pull the trigger on it. But how are you feeling about this new XFL kickoff now that some time's gone by and the reasoning behind it, quote unquote, it's for the injuries for player safety? I personally think it's for more offense, which leads to more money. But thoughts on the new XFL kickoff? I don't even know if I've got your original opinion. Do you love it or do you hate it? Or neutral?
I'm kind of like, like, I don't really know. I know as a player, it's probably a lot easier executing your job, because kickoff return is probably the hardest job on the planet. Like, literally, like, you gotta imagine a guy running full speed at you, an elite athlete running full speed at you, and you have to set your feet and literally just take a charge. So on this XFL thing, I guess it's a little bit less contact, or a lot less contact. And I think people can execute their jobs just a little bit more, that's always nice.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it'll lead to a lot more explosive plays out of the backfield? Because that's kind of been the argument for it. You look at the return rate in the NFL, about 27%, XFL 97%. But the problem was, you see that return rate, the NFL it's 24, XFL 97 from last season. The XFL only had one kick return for a touchdown, and surprisingly, the NFL had 4. So you actually got more kick return touchdowns from the NFL kickoff style than opposed to what you would think be the more explosive one in the XFL. Small sample size. I'm not saying that's going to be true for upcoming seasons. If the NFL continues through, again, this is a trial year. The NFL can repeal this and go back to the old style if they decide they hate it. But do you think this actually leads to more explosive plays on offense, or I should say special teams?
One more time, you cut out.
Yeah. Do you think this new XFL style is going to lead to more explosive plays on special teams?
100%. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I think it's simple statistics. If you're taking the ball at 24% of the time, your kick return yards are going to go down. And then if you take the ball out and 90%, you're going to get more explosive plays. So we're going to see that. It's just going to be the new norm. Kick returners are going to be a lot more valuable. I mean I would say the intent, the want to in kickoff return is going to go up more because it's going to be a focal point in everyone's team, because you can really flip the field with a good returner, with a good strategy, with a good with guys that execute there. So it's going to be awesome. I would love to see them starting to put guys at how should I say this? Like a Tyreek Hill back there. Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine them putting more. I would say, all the players in the NFL are dynamic. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying the guys that make plays on offense, the guys who carry the ball the most. I wouldn't mind seeing guys be put in those positions, not Justin Fields. That's crazy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I agree with you for the most part.
If he gets hurt, bro. If he gets hurt, and then Russell Wilson's the guy, right?
Yeah,
With the
Wilson.
Steelers.
Yep.
Yeah, so if Russell Wilson goes down, and then you go to your third string, and whoever made that idea is probably not getting another job after that. So let's just not do that.
Yeah, let's hope it's just more food for thought than it is a plan they hope to put into action. Again, I'm very skeptical this thing actually goes all the way through, but the fact that it was even a thought blows my mind. Absolutely not. Why would you do that? Why would you put a guy that you're investing in for the future and put him in a situation where, again, I get it's the new XFL rules. It's not like guys are running at you from 50 yards out, but they're still getting a pretty good head of steam. And there's not a whole lot of confusion out there that you can do for trickery. They're all coming for Fields' head, especially knowing that's the backup QB. Like that's to me idiotic. Teams are going to see that, see if there's Justin Fields actually back there taking back the kick return. They're going to try to take that guy with a solid hit. They're going to do it legally, try to do it legally, but they're going to be, quote unquote, head hunting. Obviously not head hunting because you get targeting calls, but they're going to try to put a definitely good hit on him if he's back there. I will say this though. I mean, how do you feel about the NFL and just the way it continues to cater towards the offense? Because you mentioned Tyreek Hill back there, like a guy like that for kickoff return, but even like Tyreek Hill today, as great as a wide receiver he is, he's not that same guy if we go back 20 years and play that style of football. He's just not big enough. Like he would be getting bullied a lot of the times with the amount of physical contact they allowed. As the NFL continues to kind of go to this more catered offense, the viewings will tell you it doesn't matter. But is there a breaking point where it's just too much and we've gone so far out of what the game used to be? You even hear guys that, just retired not too long ago. A guy like Tom Brady talking about the quarterback play is just not great like it was back then because there's no fear of the defenders like there used to be. Now you can throw it to your guy. In worst case scenario, if there's some sort of late hit, you're getting a flag in the yards anyways. Back then, that's just a Ray Lewis making a play. Do you ever get worried about the way the league's heading? And do you think there is a snapping point where the viewership actually kind of starts to sour on them a little bit because people just feel so far removed of the NFL of the old days that people really grew to love?
Yeah, I understand. I truly understand, like, why people are frustrated, and even players. Like, I miss the old game. I feel like in high school, the rules just changed.
Yeah.
So it was kind of hard to, it was hard. They just started the targeting thing, and you had to miss a game or, miss 2 quarters, 4 quarters, whatever it was. But I understand people's frustration, but I also understand why they're doing it. The biggest thing that I miss is just the nature of the game. The nature of the game is really physical, and you're supposed to impose your will on the other guy. And taking that out of the game, yes, it loses its original intent but that's why things evolve, right? So you can find new ways to make things right.
Yeah, I agree with you, but the only part of where I'd push back is I don't fully understand why a lot of the changes are the way they are. As much as I'd want to say the NFL has always done the right things, they just haven't. There's times where money's been up front first. I think that's what we're seeing a lot with the offensive rules. I don't think as much as the NFL, and I talk about this a lot, and if you guys are annoyed by it, 402-464-5685, tell me we can switch gears here before we go to break. But if it was really about player safety, let's just get the real grass in already. You guys make enough money. Why would you keep talking about extending it to 18 games? Keep the season as it is. You talk about player safety like it's the most important thing in the world, but then when there's these,
but you still have turf fields.
Exactly. And then you have these opportunities that obviously make it a more dangerous scenario, but you refuse to do anything because the bottom line says we'll still make a buckets loads of money, but just a little bit less than what we're used to. Therefore, we're not going to do it. But we will do all this other stuff. Targeting, well, there's fines involved in that. We can make some money off that. Like a lot of these things that they penalize for, they're putting fines into. And, there is, with those fines, Brewington, if I'm correct, I actually think those fines do go to a good cause. I don't think the NFL is just pocketing straight cash. So I could even push back on myself a little bit for that one. But there just is a certain time where it's more catered to the offense than it is player safety. And I do worry that people are always going to watch because the NFL is king, at least for now and probably for 20, 30 more years. But I do think there will be one day where that's the straw that breaks the camel's back, where people are just kind of sick of how far removed it's gotten. I think the NBA is kind of going through that right now, and you're seeing it in the NBA playoff numbers. They tend to go down, not significantly on the steady rise like they used to be. Now, they'll have some good seasons where it goes up a little bit because of the great players, but they're not seeing that exponential growth like they did in the past. And I think the NFL is still on that exponential growth. I'll be curious if it ever shifts. It feels like it's just so dominant that it takes so much, but that is always a little bit of something I worry about because at the end of the day, like you said, football is a physical sport and you just can't take all the physicality out of it. Otherwise it's just not football anymore. And with the XFL rule change, the hip drop rule, like I get it. These are about player safety, but that's kind of football, right? And that's what makes that sport so special is that it is an incredibly physical sport. You want to protect those athletes, but those athletes know what they sign up for, and it's a sport they love. So again, I'd be more willing to buy it if the NFL has, just put real grass down. They stop talking about extending the regular season, but they don't. So I'm sitting here skeptical about it. With that being said, though, we'll throw it to break here. We got Chancellor Brewington, the host of What's Brewing, Chancellor Brewington, as always, on the LO VIP line. Harrison Arns back at the 1040 Ticket Studios. We'll throw it to break. Talk to you guys in a little bit.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Be a memory for your grandchildren. Among Nebraska adults age 65 or older, 47% report current alcohol use. Drinking too much can cause harm to children, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, you will still be around for your grandchildren. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Community means something different to everyone. But for me, it means cheering on those around you during the good times and helping them out during the tough times. I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I've been blessed with the support of my friends, family, coaches, and community throughout my life. When looking for a bank to call home, it was easy to choose Midwest Bank. I never feel like just another customer, and they're proud to support their communities. They love what they do, and it shows. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
NEBCO is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. NEBCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From NEBCO's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
The University of Nebraska Rodeo Association is excited to announce the 2024 Nebraska Cornhusker College Rodeo. Come on out to the Sandhills Global Event Center May 3rd and 4th. Cheer on your University of Nebraska Rodeo team as they take on teams from all across the Great Plains region. Friday is college night, and Saturday afternoon kids attend free with purchase of adult general admission ticket at the door. Advance tickets on sale now at sandhillsglobaleventcenter.org. Tickets also available at the Fort South 56th in Lincoln. Don't miss the Nebraska Cornhusker College Rodeo May 3rd and 4th.
Hey Husker Nation, Matt Davison here with 1890. It's an exciting time to be a Husker fan, and to keep that momentum going, we need your help. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics, and we're doing the same through name, image, and likeness. NIL is a unique opportunity for every Husker fan to have a direct impact on the success of our programs. Through 1890, 100% of your contribution goes to the student athletes. So go to 1890nebraska.com, choose your sport, become a member, and help the Huskers recruit and retain the best. Go Big Red.
Hi, this is State Senator Carolyn Bozin. Education is a cornerstone to building a strong, vibrant community. I voted for the historic increase in funding for education in the legislature. As a state senator, wife, and mom, I believe Lincoln is a great place to work and raise a family. My husband Reggie and I are local business owners and understand the valuable role of education in our community. This is Carolyn Bozin, and I am asking for your vote on May 14th, paid for by Bozin for Legislature.
Hi, it's Tom and Mike from Husker Rewind. And did you know that people who are represented by an attorney are often compensated up to 3 times more than someone who is not?
Friedman Law has been helping injured people for over 60 years. It's all they do. If you're ever seriously injured in an accident, call Friedman Law at 402-476-1093.
Friedman Law is a family firm that works hard for Nebraska families just like yours.
So if you're ever injured on the job or in a crash, contact Friedman Law at friedmanlaw.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
You guys talk about songs that you love. Is there a song that you absolutely loathe in this world?
Oh, there is, and I can't think of them right there.
Just pick an Ozzy Osbourne song. I despise with all my being Benny and the Jets by Elton John. I hate that song. Jersey Mike's or Chick-fil-A.
Chick is good. Jersey Mike's, I'm going to say it'd be 90th.
Oh, come on.
90th.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. On the block with Strick and Austin.
Hey, he looked as advertised. He looked really good in the spring game. And because of that, we're going back to a bowl game this year, is what Husker fans are telling them. So I think the fans have a more realistic perspective, and I think this coaching staff has done a really good job of handling Dylan Raiola and the expectations around him.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Dick Weeknights. Once again, Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We got the host, as always, Chancellor Brewington on the Outlaw VIP line. Chancellor, we only got about a couple minutes left here, so I'll kind of throw the wisdom parts of this last part of our segment. It's not quite Friday, but it's the last day that we'll be on here this week at the very least. So what's on your mind for this weekend, and what you got for imparting words of wisdom?
Yeah, I was just at a can you hear me?
Yeah, I was putting you on the spot. Go for it.
Oh yeah. I just got done wrapping up a meeting, and I was talking to a very, very influential man. He's just terrific, has just tons of wisdom. Like, just, you ever walk with those people or be in a room with people and you can just feel like the aura about them is just different?
Yeah, absolutely.
And he was saying, he said the reason why things aren't happening in your life, that the things aren't happening in your life is because you're not trusting yourself. You're not trusting who you're made to be. You're not trusting that you are a king or a queen. You're not trusting that the Creator made you in His image. Like, you're not trusting those things. So the things that you're hoping for or wishing for, they're not going to come true because you don't even trust yourself. And why would you be given authority or power over something when you don't trust yourself first? So yeah, it was a crazy conversation, but yeah, I would just leave the people with that. Make sure find out where the bruises are, where the cuts are on your trust in yourself, the confidence in yourself. Locate those things, find those things out, and start to mend those things, start to heal them, and know that you're called to have dominion here. You're called to have ownership, to have rulership over things, not people, but over situations, over businesses, over ideas, over territory. So yeah, that was my wisdom that was passed down to me tonight. It blessed me, and I hope that blesses someone else.
Absolutely, man. I love it. It speaks a lot. Definitely can feel that one myself. I mean, before I had this job, who would have thought, man? I had anxiety. Now I'm speaking on a microphone for hours at a time, doing shows with guys like the former Husker Chancellor Brewington, the former Husker tight end. Chancellor, appreciate the words of wisdom, the sports conversations. We'll let you get out of here as we wrap things up. So again, shout out to Chancellor Brewington, the host as always, for joining me. His show, What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington. Harrison Arns on the 1s and 2s as we wrap things up here. We'll set up a replay for you guys from that 10 to 11 hour, and then we'll be back live with the Daily Nebraskan, hosted as always by a couple of workers of the Daily Nebraskan, and then the producer, as always, Ben Droz, will take over once that 11 o'clock hour hits. So again, appreciate you guys listening, and we'll talk to you later.